According to Medium.com, the average salary of an NBA player is 7.7 million, while in the NBA, their salary is closer to 75,000. So females are making 1% of the salary of their male counterparts. This doesn't even make a dent in the issues that female athletes have to face. So why is this important? The wage gap that I just mentioned not only applies in the sports realm, but in the business realm for real life women as well. Females tend to make less than their male counterparts and hold lower um, positions, and while males tend to hold higher ranking positions, and this comes from a history of lack of respect for women. So today I will be talking about the issue that is lack of respect and underappreciation for female athletes, what has caused this and the issues that they go through and how they can be changed. So the biggest issue that I mentioned for me is the wage gap. So the biggest area or sport that we see this in is in basketball with the NBA and the WNBA. So I wanted to talk about Sue Bird and LeBron James, which are two of the best in their respective leagues. They've both played 17 seasons and they've won 4 championships, while Sue Bird only made $215,000 in 2020, while LeBron cashed in at 37.4 million. And in the season of 2020, they both won championships, but Sue only made $11,356, while LeBron's bonus was $370,000. So, in a poll that I took for a previous class, I surveyed 251 college students on if they would rather watch the NBA or the WNBA. And out of the 251 of them, 231 said the NBA, while only 20 said the WNBA. And this correlates to my next point, which is that female sports get less airtime than male sports. So, in a study that USC conducted, they found that 95% of total TV coverage and ESPN highlights shown on SportsCenter focus on men's sports in 2019. So, they also emphasize saying news media focuses on the big three sports, male sports, which are football, baseball, and basketball, to create an audience that knows and is excited for the same events over and over. Meanwhile, women's sports continue to get the short shrift, which is significant when you consider the larger picture of girls and women's efforts to achieve equal opportunity, resources, pay, and respect in sports. So this not only carries over into the WNBA and the NBA, there's a lack of coverage when it comes to big tournaments like the College World Series for baseball versus softball. There's a lack of coverage for softball. And when it comes to March Madness, there's much less coverage for the female basketball tournament. And even right now, the Little League World Series is going on right now. And I've only really seen the baseball being played and not the softball. So these issues are still rampant because of the historical implications of them. So, in a quote from womenshistory.org, 19th century America idealized women's modesty, frowning upon sports as a threat to elite women's fertility. So they only associated sports for women with wealth and leisure. So the only sports that they were allowed to play at this time was tennis and croquet and archery. So I wanted to talk about some of the turning points for women. One of the big ones is the Battle of the Sexes, which was Billie Jean King versus Bobby Riggs. It was a tennis match. She was the number one top tennis player at the time, and he was the number one former men's tennis player at the time. And he quoted that women were inferior, couldn't handle pressure of the game, and even at his age, he could beat any female player. And she took him in straight sets. I also wanted to touch on Title IX, which states that no person in the U.S. shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any educational program or activity receiving federal funding assistance. Title IX helped so many female athletes in college and high school because it brought so many more opportunities to play sports in these. So, in order to solve a problem that has been so far gone in the past, is more respect and more opportunities for women in sports. So opportunities that you've seen recently in sports have been, there's been more coaches, female coaches in all male sports. So for a couple examples, Becky Hammon is now a coach for the San Antonio Spurs. Jenny Bosek for the Dallas Mavericks, Christy Tolliver for the Washington Wizards. There are now 5 full-time NBA refs. And in order to solve this problem, there just needs to be a lot more respect for women in sport as a whole. And by supporting female athletes today, you're supporting female athletes of the future. By giving praise to female athletes, you are encouraging little girls who want to grow up and be these female athletes to keep going and to keep pushing for what they want. So next time you put on a game, think about watching a female game and supporting these hardworking women that just want equality in their sport and to get recognized. And these are my